Now at 5, area health providers discuss the authorization of Pfizer's vaccine for young kids.
President Biden returns from overseas with little progress from his party on his legislative agenda. I'm Deborah Alfarone at the White House with where they agree and where the potential sticking points are.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Local officials respond to the emergency authorization of Pfizer's COVID vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11. This is KOAM News at 5. KOAM's Chris Warner has more.
At the Freeman media briefing today, the Pfizer vaccine for kids was the main topic. Freeman pediatrician Dr. Kimra Ross explained that there aren't any significant differences with the vaccine for the 5 to 11 age group versus everyone else. Now, the main difference is the dosage, which is lower, about a third of the dose for those 12 and older. Dr. Ross wants to remind parents that the vaccine has been very well studied, and she says a number of children took place in trials to ensure the vaccine was safe for this age group.
The side effect profile in the 5 to 11-year-old range is the same, but the chance of children having fever, of having fatigue, of having achiness after the vaccine is actually less than it is in us as adults.
Tonight at 6, we'll hear more from Dr. Ross about the vaccine.
Chris Warner, see you then. In Kansas, Governor Laura Kelly spoke to the Safer Classrooms work group about the vaccine for kids. Kelly says the state has ordered 128,000 doses of the vaccine for the 5 to 11 age group. She says the majority of that has already arrived and the rest is expected by Friday. Half of the doses ordered will go to large healthcare providers and local hospitals in packages of 300. The other half will be repackaged in smaller amounts for pediatricians, family physicians, community health centers, and other providers.
Should parents choose to do so, we stand ready to vaccinate the more than 260,000 Kansas kids in this age group as quickly and as smoothly as possible. Our schools will continue to be essential partners throughout the vaccine distribution process. We know that the best way to get Kansans vaccinated is to bring the vaccine to them.
Kansas governor added she's grateful for the school districts that have already expressed interest in hosting vaccine clinics, and she hopes more districts will do the same. A little bit later, we're going to look at some of the concerns parents have about the vaccine. Right now, though, checking in with Nick Kelly for a first look at the weather.
And finally, Dad, we made it back at least into the lower 50s at Joplin Regional today. That's a feat that we struggled to accomplish over the past 2 days because we saw some peaks of the sun, even though we're right now seeing mostly cloudy skies. But we're done with the rain chances that we had to deal with to start the week out. And even though we're trying to see some cloud cover break out, it's nice to see nothing on the radar network as well. That's leading to another issue for tonight. Frost advisories for much of southeast Kansas, freeze warnings for southwestern Missouri and parts of northeast Oklahoma around Grand Lake. All of these advisories and warnings expiring at 9 a.m. And that's already telling us we're looking at a cold night and a cold Thursday morning to get things started. At least right now, everybody's in the lower 50s. Nice to see these numbers return, but we'll quickly fall to the 50s, 40s. Down close to the freezing mark for some, it's closer to 34 in downtown Joplin, Dow, but thankfully we're going to trend warmer for the weekend ahead. We'll break down those numbers in a bit.
See you then. The New Jersey governor's race is still too close to call today. It's a very narrow lead for the Democratic incumbent, Phil Murphy, over Republican Jack Ciattarelli. Despite New Jersey generally being a solidly blue state, Republicans are cheering in Virginia, a state President Biden won easily last year. Republican businessman Glenn Youngkin defeated former Governor Terry McAuliffe. It's been nearly a week since President Biden introduced his revamped Build Back Better package, and Congress has yet to act on it. The Democrats announced new agreements on key sticking points, such as paid leave and prescription drugs, but the gridlock has led to internal finger-pointing, especially after Republicans came up with the big wins in yesterday's state elections. Reporter Deborah Alfarone has more from the White House.
President Biden returned home from Europe to little movement on his revised $1.75 trillion social spending bill, nor the roughly $1 trillion bipartisan bill to fix the country's physical infrastructure. But there is one bright spot. The Democrats have reached a deal to lower the price of prescription drugs as part of the legislation, capping out-of-pocket Medicare costs at $2,000 and reducing the price of insulin. The agreement has the support of moderate Senator Kyrsten Sinema.
Fixing prescription drug pricing has consistently been a top issue for Americans year after year.
House Democrats also announced a plan to amend the social spending bill with 4 weeks of paid family and medical leave. But key Senate moderate Joe Manchin has signaled he's not on board.
Let's do it and do it right and not do it in this.
The stalling of the president's agenda, combined with massive wins for Republicans in Virginia's state elections Tuesday, has some Democrats pressuring their party for results.
Congress has to deliver. Windows closing. We have no more time.
The motion is not agreed to.
Meanwhile, Senate Republicans again blocked the Democrats' attempt to start debate on voting rights legislation, another key agenda item for President Biden. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
Senator Joe Manchin says he's working with Maine Republican Susan Collins on a bipartisan plan for paid family and medical leave. The Supreme Court today listened to arguments in a gun control case, the first major gun control case they've listened to in more than a decade. The case centers around a New York law which requires applicants for a concealed carry license to show a special need in order to be approved. A decision on the case is expected to be handed down sometime next spring or early summer. Still ahead, a warning about fake products.
Millions of Americans are shopping online for holiday gifts, but many products on legitimate websites may be counterfeit. I'm Elise Preston with a warning from lawmakers.
And next in Health Watch, some of the concerns parents have about vaccinating their children against COVID-19. Topping today's Health Watch, as the first COVID-19 shots go into younger children's arms, some parents do have concerns. Naomi Ruckham has more on what pediatricians want parents to know.
Hannah Gurman is mom to 2 boys. While her little one isn't eligible, she's excited her 8-year-old can now get the COVID-19 vaccine.
Waiting for this moment for months and months.
But some parents are feeling uneasy about their children getting the shot.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about it. I don't want to say I'm skeptical, but it's just, this is our kid and you want to make sure everything is okay.
Corey Benelowitz's main concern, an uncommon side effect of the vaccine called myocarditis, or heart inflammation.
It is really a pretty rare occurrence when young adults and adolescents who've had myocarditis. It's usually pretty mild, lasting only a couple days, and is pretty easily treated with medications.
Pediatrician Dr. Emmanuel Walter led a trial at Duke looking at the vaccine's effects on children.
Sore arm, some muscle aches, headaches, fever, chills, fatigue, and a little bit of redness and swelling around the injection site. I think that we can probably extrapolate that information down to children as well, that we don't have concerns about long-term side effects.
Some parents are also asking whether the vaccine could impact fertility.
To date, there is no evidence whatsoever that this vaccine affects future fertility for when it's given to children or adolescents.
I was willing to trust the experts. I know that while COVID for most children is not severe, there's always that risk, and the risk of the vaccines was much less.
Gurman's older son already has his first vaccine appointment. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Another concern for parents is whether children will need booster shots. Dr. Walter says it depends on where we head with the pandemic, and studies would have to be done on boosters on children. The risk of early breast cancer spreading to other parts of the body ranges from 6 to 22%. That's according to a large international study that also found women diagnosed at a younger age, those with large tumors, and those with luminal B cancer were at higher risk than others. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about dogs and afraid of veterinarians.
But first, I'm tracking a few cold nights ahead of us with frost advisories and freeze warnings out, but we will warm up just in time for the weekend. Forecast next. Well, it's about time the rain chances finally hightailed it out of here, and we're just waiting to see the temperatures really start to warm up. But thankfully, Mother Nature was kind to us and got us out of the 40s this time around. After we only topped out in the upper 40s yesterday, Joplin Regional at 47, we started, again, upper 30s to near 40 this morning. So far back to 53, a little warmer than I was expecting, but hey, we'll certainly take it considering how unseasonably cool it has been over the past few days due to a lot of cloud cover and a few waves of rain that has passed through parts of the region at the very least. The last of the rain with our last wave, though, cleared out this morning, and we thankfully got the chance to really start drying things out as we got into this afternoon. And again, we weren't concerned about too much rainfall with these rain chances to start the week out. They've averaged out just under 1/4 of an inch. And even though we're starting to see the cloud cover break apart in some spots, that's leading to another issue as we go into the overnight. No rain chances to worry about, but look at the frost advisories in southeast Kansas, freeze warnings in southwest Missouri, and areas around Grand Lake. All of this in effect until 9 a.m. on your Thursday, indicating we got quite a cold night ahead of us before we go right back into the 50s tomorrow. Mostly cloudy, but we are dry in Joplin. 51 degrees with a calm breeze and a dew point of 35. Good indication of where temperatures want to go as we go throughout the course of the overnight hours ahead of us. For now, though, a couple upper 40s, but mainly most of us in the lower 50s. Again, we'll take it for sure. Before we drop back through the 40s this evening, 39 by midnight. And you can see how we drop back around 34 in Joplin and a couple areas outside of Joplin, close to the freezing mark. That's why those frost advisories and freeze warnings are out. Fortunately, though, we don't have anything to track as we continue with high pressure working over northeastern parts of Missouri. Plus, it helps that the wave that was sitting out in Kansas the other day is skirting toward the deep south. We're just waiting for that upper ridge out west to really build in. That's what's going to finally bring us back into mild territory as we get closer to the end of the week. In the short term, though, we'll continue to see mostly cloudy skies turn partly cloudy overnight. That's going to be key because as we go through the overnight, you can see how we drop back into the mid-30s, a couple spots near freezing. We've got to keep an eye on that if you haven't done so already. Sensitive plants, either bring them in or cover them up before we head into Thursday morning. But look at the afternoon. I think the feature track's overdoing cloud cover a little bit, but I'm expecting partly sunny skies and definitely another day where we can finally get out of the 40s. 34 in the morning, 49 by noon. I expect highs to top out around 53. Thursday night, Friday morning could be another night where we have to watch temperatures closely. This could be another frost and freeze setup to start Friday out, but then we'll go back into the mid, if not upper 50s with mostly sunny skies for Friday. And as our upper ridge begins to build in, we'll go mid to upper 60s for the weekend, near 70 on Monday. Then, sticking with Doug's pattern, we'll watch for a wave to bring in some isolated storm chances Tuesday and our next best shot for rain and storms with another wave that will come on in on Wednesday. But we'll be thankful with that upper ridge building in because look at the temperatures finally deciding to climb on up. 53 tomorrow, 56 Friday, 63 Saturday, near 70. Sunday and Monday, the weekend's looking pretty good now, even though we have to roll back the clocks going into Sunday morning. And again, we'll hold off on any more rain chances until the middle of next week.
Yeah, 60s in the weekend. We'll take that for sure.
Yeah, we just got to get past a couple cold nights, and that's a good reward for us.
Thanks, Nick. Some area students decided to put their lessons to work and help their community. Fort Scott Community College and Southeast Kansas Career and Technical Education Center students today helped build the foundation for a Habitat for Humanity house in Pittsburgh.
Really the best way to learn the trade is by doing it. And so we are a very hands-on based school. With our classes, and so, but this does give them a chance to get out in the elements and see how it really goes up in a real situation.
Students will continue the work tomorrow as well. Coming up, more counterfeit products are showing up on legitimate websites. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Troy Norris served in the U.S. Navy from 1962 to 1966. Fort Scott, Kansas native was stationed in Vietnam, and we salute Gunner's Mate 3rd Class Troy Norris, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, more than 500,000 jobs were created in the private sector in October. That's according to payroll processor ADP. 500,000 was more than expected. New jobs in the services sector led the gains, especially hiring in leisure and hospitality. Facebook says it will end the use of its facial recognition software amid criticism from its more than 1 billion users. Software scans users' faces in pictures and videos and will then notify them if someone else on the platform has posted images of them. The decision comes as growing concerns about the ethics of the technology swirl, with questions raised over privacy, racial bias, and accuracy. Many shoppers are already buying gifts for the holidays. The internet is a popular place to do that shopping, but many products sold online, including toys, may be counterfeit. Reporter Elise Preston explains.
Aaron Muterick is founder of Crazy Aaron's. His magnetic putty for kids sells on Amazon and other online retailers. But he says when it became popular, listings for putty that look similar popped up quickly from overseas manufacturers.
Thank you for the opportunity to testify today.
On Tuesday, he told a Senate committee there are hundreds of third-party sellers offering copies of his products.
These bad actors often sell unsafe goods which do not meet the stringent federal safety standards required of legitimate producers.
Muterick's magnets can't fit inside this tube used to measure choking hazards, but magnets from other online products easily go in. A 2019 report found that counterfeit and pirated goods have rapidly grown in the internet era and make up more than 3% of all global trade.
The sale of counterfeit goods online impacts national economies, companies of all sizes, including small and medium-sized enterprises, and consumers, and has exploded in the past decade and even more so since COVID-19.
Congress is now considering legislation called the Inform Act, designed to combat the sale of counterfeit goods online.
If somebody's going to sell large volume of goods online on a marketplace, they should tell the marketplace who they are. Doesn't that sound pretty basic? The sellers should be verified.
Amazon, Etsy, and eBay are endorsing the House version of the bill. All those companies are members of the Internet Association.
We recognize the responsibility and the important role we play in the ecosystem in stopping this activity.
The legislation's chance of passing is improving now that it has support from businesses and both parties. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Our pet vet on call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Congress's plan to deal with rising prescription drug costs. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the response of local health officials on the authorization of youth COVID-19 vaccinations. Plus, authorities in Oklahoma investigate the death of a woman found near Commerce. And a new Oklahoma law allows bar owners to install self-pour alcohol machines. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. We're all afraid of something, and it seems even our pets can have phobias. Today's question for our pet vet on call: my dog is afraid of the veterinarian's office. Do any vets make house calls?
The doctor phobia. You should see me at the dentist's office. And yes, a lot of veterinarians make house calls. But here's the thing about that. If your dog is already afraid of the veterinarian, the doctor, and the office, and you bring that scary thing into their territory, now they have no safe haven, and it can make their fear and anxiety even worse. What I recommend is to desensitize them from that. Bring them to the office regularly, put them on the scale, let the staff pet them, give them treats, and send them home. That will make them less fearful for when the real time comes and he has to come in.
You know, we invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudak from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Now let's check out our picks of the litter for the week from the Joplin Humane Society. First, we have Bailey. The shelter says she's a 9 to 11-month-old Labrador Retriever mix with a high energy level. Those kids. And we have an adult female domestic short-haired cat named Kathy. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? Kathy the kitty. Good names. Weather, it's chilly but trending in the right direction.
Yeah, we just got to get past a few cold nighs, Dal, especially with frost and freeze warnings in place for tonight. I'm expecting lows to drop back into the lower to middle 30s. Let's go 53 tomorrow. That'll be a nice rebound. Another cold start Friday morning before we jump back to 56. The rest of the weekend's looking great. Partly to mostly sunny skies, 63 on Saturday and closer to 70 by the time we head towards Sunday afternoon.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.